Albanian king of cocaine, Dritan Rexhepi. Dritan Rexhepi's story began in the chaotic period of transition from a communist dictatorship to a free market economy in 1990s Albania. He was a teenager at the time, doing anything he could to get by, just like everyone else in the area was doing. But that type of life involves breaking laws. Laws that are a gateway to going as far as to take lives and start a whole drug empire. In this video on the Wanted Fugitive channel, we're going to be taking you along the crazy life of Dritan Rexhepi, the criminal mastermind that has left Interpol in distress. The beginning. Even though Dritan Rexhepi started off with petty crimes, by the time he was 20 years old, he was already suspected of carrying out 2 murders to order, and possibly more, but the police didn't have any proof linking him to the crimes for those. The thing is, Rexhepi was no stranger to jail. He often found himself locked up and regularly escaped, more frequently than even notorious drug lord Joaquin Guzman El Chapo. Faced with an unjust and rotten system in Albania that would have led to life imprisonment, Rexhepi had no other choice but to seek a second chance for his life. He knew that his life inside prison would just be wasted, and he wanted to do big things out in the world, so he had to get out. In 2005, he told a crime journalist from an Italian cell that he wanted to study law, something he never got the chance to do as he was wrongly accused of murders. Forced into the drug trade, Rexhepi said. I had 2 options. Surrender to an unjust and rotten system in Albania, which would lead to life imprisonment, or seek a second chance to do something else with my life. That's why I got into the drug trade. It was a decision that would change his life forever. A series of escapes. In 2006 in Durrës, he was arrested, but strangely, a mysteriously unlocked door gave him a chance to escape. He could literally just walk right out of there. An astonished officer in the hallway reportedly heard him remark, "They're done with me." Despite the odds, Rexhepi managed to outmaneuver law enforcement like it was a cakewalk. In 2011, Rexhepi was arrested in Spain after having been convicted in Belgium the previous year for a violent robbery. He managed to evade his sentence and found himself on Interpol's list of fugitives due to charges of double murder and evading his sentence in Italy. It was the way he escaped, though, that really shocked everyone. Rexhepi used a hacksaw to cut through the bars of a window with 2 other inmates and make their escape. On the same afternoon, they used bed sheets to reach the ground floor and then fled on foot, stopping a car along the way before quickly disappearing without a trace. The 2 Albanian companions who joined him in his daring escape had been convicted of serious violent crimes. Right after that, he was placed in the prison of Merksplas, a medium-heavy security prison, but he managed to escape with another prisoner that autumn. That was one of the first times the authorities really got to see that they weren't paying close enough attention. Dritan could slip away right from under their noses. He disappeared into the shadows of the Benelux region, likely setting up home in Rotterdam or Spain. Once he got settled in, he went right back to crime. It was later found that during this time he was part of a series of bank robberies. Despite being great at evading justice, Rexhepi's luck eventually ran out, and he fell into the hands of law enforcement. In 2013, he was convicted in absentia by Tirana's court to 25 years imprisonment for these acts under his criminal alias Gramoz, and later as Mutaraj Lulzim and Edmir Kraja. It was slowly becoming obvious that the police didn't just have to look into the crimes that Dritan committed himself, but also those that he could have committed hiding under other identities. The known crimes landed him in a secure prison with no chance of escape. He was a wanted man, facing serious charges for his criminal activities. Nevertheless, it wasn't enough to stop him from trying one last time at freedom, only to be foiled yet again. He was an escape artist after all, and how long can you possibly hold on to one of those? The foundation of an empire. Rexhepi and his associates set off to create a formidable drug network, importing large amounts of cocaine into the ports of Rotterdam and Antwerp before distributing it across Europe. An investigation dubbed Los Blancos was launched by the Albanian and Italian prosecutors to uncover the intricate details of this cartel. This network became known as the Compagnia Bello and was active in Ecuador, the Netherlands, Belgium, Albania, and Italy. However, just after getting things off the ground in June 2014, Rexhepi was arrested in Quito, the capital of Ecuador, as part of a police drug bust that seized 278 kilograms of cocaine. The Italian police have uncovered a massive cocaine trafficking operation headed by Rexhepi that stretches from Latin America all the way to the Netherlands and Belgium. The illicit substance was sold for far more in Europe than it had been purchased for in its origin countries, over $4,000 per kilo. Criminals from Albanian communities acted as enforcers and distributors of the product, reselling it for as much as $22,000 to $24,000 per kilo. To cover up their tracks, the criminals took advantage of Chinese exchanges to launder the drug profits paid in the Netherlands. In total, Rexhepi's network is estimated to have earned a whopping €210 million. Sadly, despite investigations in both the Netherlands and Belgium, it appears that Rexhepi's South American connections remain unaffected. Italian prosecutors have even launched an investigation into Rexhepi for murder, alleging that he ordered the deaths of 2 people while in prison. Albanian authorities further accuse him of masterminding a kidnapping in February 2020, where the victim has not been found and is presumed to be dead. At the same time, investigations are underway regarding Rexhepi's involvement in the international cocaine trade, as evidenced by chats obtained from Sky ECC. Italian justice believes he is the mastermind behind large shipments of cocaine from Ecuador. One of the craziest things about Dritan Rexhepi and how long he's been able to get away with being one of the biggest crime bosses in the world is the fact that he hasn't even been particularly careful with the way he's done things. Even though he's always escaped, he's never really tried that hard to stay hidden. Remote business. One of the biggest mistakes Dritan Rexhepi made was the fact that despite being great at getting away from the police and literally being able to walk out of jail whenever he wanted, when he was on the outside, he wasn't particularly careful. He left an entire trail of evidence leading the investigators from Europe all the way to Ecuador. Rexhepi is believed to have smuggled approximately 5.9 metric tons of cocaine from Ecuador to Europe, resulting in an estimated profit of $140 million. The thing is, Dritan has never really been that bothered about being caught because he knows he can just get out. Even if he doesn't, he's perfectly capable of running things from inside prison too. For years, Dritan used concealed phones and a network of prison mates to keep his drug business going flawlessly from the inside. He's been ordering murders, making sure his empire remains untouched. No matter how many times the authorities try to put an end to his work, he just keeps on going, moving from one method to the next, until he escapes again. Now, you'd think that considering the authorities know that he's been able to break out of jail time and time again for 2 decades now, they'd do something to keep him locked up behind bars for good, but turns out that's far from what's going on. In November 2021, the Ecuadorian authorities decided to give Dritan a provisional release. Instead of keeping him in jail and risking other inmates being part of his grand scheme any longer, they allowed him to move into his home in Guayaquil. Part of his conditional release was that for 5 years he'd have to wear an ankle monitor, avoid committing any crimes whatsoever, and report back to the police every 2 weeks. Well, in a recent turn of events, Dritan has now cut off his ankle monitor and hasn't made it to his bi-weekly check-ins since January. Yep, it only took him a little over a month to truly disappear. It's now been a year since his initial release and, well, he's gone with the wind. Who knows, maybe this time Dritan has escaped for good and may never be found. Only time will tell how his story ends. And on that note, we'll wrap up today's video. What do you think about Dritan's crazy life as a master criminal? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one, even if we don't see Dritan for a long time.